Right now at 5, we are tracking the tropics. 2 disturbances, one we need to pay close attention to.
It's primary election day. A look at the big races, the turnout, and what about if you're voting by mail? It's part of CBS 4 News live team coverage.
Mail delivery delays, the Postmaster General changing his plans, what that means for the U.S. Postal Service going into the November general election.
And back to the books, students in Broward County go back virtually tomorrow. We have what parents and students can expect. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carly Barnett in for Lauren Pastrana.
And I'm Elliot Rodriguez. CBS 4 News at 5 starts right now.
This is CBS 4 News at 5.
Now at 5, we are tracking the tropics for you tonight, where there are 2 areas of concern in the Atlantic.
Let's get right to CBS 4 Chief Meteorologist Craig Setzer with the very latest. Craig.
Guys, even though there's no advisory coming up.
A lot going on, Craig. Thank you. Now to Campaign 2020, and it's primary day. If you haven't cast your ballot by now, time is running out. Polls close in 2 hours.
Tonight, there are several high-profile contests that we're watching closely, including the races for Miami-Dade Mayor and Broward County Sheriff. Now, not only is it a busy primary day for the candidates, but for voters and poll workers, again, navigating Election Day in a pandemic. Our CBS 4 News crews are spread out covering all of it.
CBS 4's Joe Murray is at a polling place in Pompano Beach, and Jim DeFede will have detailed analysis on all the key races. But let's begin our live team coverage with Ted Scouten at Miami-Dade election headquarters in Doral. Ted?
Elliot and Carly, a lot of CBS 4 News.
Ted, thank you. Turning now to Broward County, where voters will determine who could officially become the county's top cop.
CBS 4's Joe Murray is in Pompano Beach. She continues our team coverage. Joan?
And we've seen a moderate turnout here at this CBS 4 News.
A lot of important races in both counties. Joan, thank you very much. Facing South Florida's Jim DeFede is joining us now. And Jim, such an unprecedented time, a primary in the middle of a pandemic. Let's talk about turnout. Did COVID-19 impact turnout today?
Absolutely not. I mean, we are seeing amazing numbers.
All right, Jim, let's take a look at Broward. What are your thoughts on some of the key races there?
Well, look, the main race, of course, is the sheriff's race.
And it is day 2 of the Democratic National Convention. Tonight's program includes remarks from 2 former presidents and some rising stars in the party.
They will make their case to the nation on why they feel Biden-Harris ticket is best for the country. CBS 4's Natalie Brand is live tonight in Washington, D.C. with more on that. Natalie.
Good evening, Carly and Elliot. Yeah, tonight's speaker list.
Let's turn things over now to CBS 4 Chief Meteorologist Craig Setzer. Craig, you've been keeping an eye on the tropics for us. You've been busy. What can you tell us?
Yeah, it's busy out there at the weekend. Back to you.
In the 80s there, like that, Craig. Thank you. Still ahead on CBS 4 News at 5. An emotional courtroom confrontation. The accused Golden State Killer facing his victims, what they bravely stood up and said, next at 5:30.
Up in flames, fire crews raced to a resort in Lauderdale by the Sea. A firefighter rushed to the hospital. Inside the investigation, up next. 30 Broward County students will begin their first day of classes tomorrow, but this year they won't be heading to the bus stop. They won't be checking out their new classrooms, of course, due to coronavirus.
Classes are set to begin as the state reports 3,838 cases of the virus, giving the appearance the state is heading in the right direction for now. The Florida Health Department reports a spike in the number of reported deaths, though, at 219.
Reported cases in Miami-Dade County were again under 1,000 with 45 deaths. There were under 400 in Broward with 12 deaths and just 7 new cases and no new deaths in Monroe County.
Meantime, the clock is ticking before the school year begins like no other by virtual learning.
Well, we spoke with the superintendent who explains what parents and students can expect. Before the start of classes for public school students in Broward County, parents had the chance to receive some free school supplies.
Our students, although they will be learning virtually, they still need supplies, they still need resources in order to be effective learners, in order to engage.
Students won't have the typical first day of school experience, but Broward Superintendent Robert Runcie says they are prepared for a virtual launch to the school year.
I will tell you that we've been working really hard this summer. Our teachers have been engaged. and a tremendous amount of training to make sure that the e-learning experience is going to be different than what we had in the spring, that it's going to be engaging, it's going to be enriching, and our kids are going to learn.
He says they will keep children on a set schedule to preserve structure and keep things as normal as possible.
They're still going to be engaging with their teachers. Live video chat's going to be an essential component of what we do. All of our services, mental health, counseling, those are all still going to be continued. We do those virtually as well.
And as far as getting back to school in person, Superintendent Runcie says they will evaluate the numbers and discuss with the school board every 2 weeks. And to get there, he says, just like this school giveaway, it will take a community effort.
Please do your part. Continue to wear masks, continue to physical distance, and doing those measures will help us to get our kids back on our campuses and back in schools.
Runcie had originally set October 1st as a tentative date to return to the classrooms, but again, now he says they're just going to monitor bi-weekly and then go from there. When they do return, it will likely be a hybrid model at first. He has previously said that the COVID-19 positivity rate in the county must be under 5% for at least 2 consecutive weeks before schools reopen. Miami Mayor Francis Suarez says it will take a regional approach to fix what led to the fish kill in Biscayne Bay. Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission blames a lack of oxygen brought on by high temperatures and heavy rainfall for what we've seen over the last week now. Now, the mayor says that there are things that can be done to keep this from happening again.
We are also working to begin a $270,000 project with 1,000 inlet filters and pollution control devices on our stormwater system. This will allow us to filter a lot of the sediments, the pesticides, and also the plastic that ultimately ends up in our bay.
He also says he's asking local businesses to stop selling pesticides. Mayor Suarez says he plans to ask the state for help. Earlier today, Chopper 4 saw this so-called water regeneration vessel helping to clean up near the Perez Art Museum. Police have arrested the man they say shot and killed a 19-year-old in northeast Miami-Dade. Robert Caleb is charged with first-degree murder. Police say he and Jeffrey Dumersaint were fighting yesterday in front of a gas station on northeast 215th Street when Caleb started shooting. He was found about 10 blocks away. Dumersaint died on the scene. Police also say 2 drivers crashed into each other trying to avoid the gunfire.
Time to check out what's trending now. Bombshell accusations of bullying, racism, and sexual misconduct on the set of the Ellen DeGeneres show. And tonight, there's some fallout.
3 top-level producers have been fired. Variety reports the news was delivered to staffers by DeGeneres herself during a video conference call. She was apparently emotional to the point of tears, saying that she wasn't perfect and the allegations were heartbreaking. DeGeneres promises change and says the show will come back next month stronger and better than ever.
Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston are getting back together, but not like the way you might think. The two will reunite for an online, online streaming event called Feeling Alive, which will include a virtual reading of the cult classic Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Morgan Freeman, Julia Roberts, and Sean Penn are also taking part in Friday's performance. Aniston and Pitt, who divorced back in 2005, nearly broke the internet when they shared a pre-social distancing moment at the SAG Awards back in January.
You never know. Well, Michelle Obama isn't just speaking her mind, she's wearing it. The former First Lady's Vote necklace was the top trending search on Google during last night's Democratic National Convention. The necklace was custom commissioned by Obama from LA-based jeweler By Cherry. And just in case you're wondering, yes, you can order one too. Elliot, I know you were wondering that.
I like it. You know what? I heard it takes about a month, so you get it. It's still relevant. It's before the election,
Gotta
right?
put your order in now, I guess.
Actually, it's always relevant, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, there are always great videos and stories to see online. Check out more of what's trending on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and cbsmiami.com/webextra.
Still ahead, a pair of newlyweds turns their canceled wedding into an even more memorable occasion.
No one was injured, but the family has been relocated while the damage from the high-flying freak accident is assessed. Wow.
Thank goodness they were okay.
Scary.
Unbelievable sight to see when you walk outside there. Well, let's send it over to CBS 4 Chief Meteorologist Craig Setzer now for a look at our forecast here at home. Thankfully, not dealing with storms. Craig.
No, but we are, of course, watching the tropics. Back to you.
Thanks, Craig. Now at 5:30, a pair of Ohio newlyweds turned their canceled wedding reception into an act of kindness. The couple's plans for a party were sidelined by the pandemic. So after tying the knot, the couple brought the already bought food to a local women's shelter instead, wearing gloves and hairnets, not to mention their tux and their gown. The newlyweds helped to serve the food at Laura's home in Cleveland, feeding more than 130 women and children. The couple hopes to be an inspiration to others who may have had their plans derailed. And still ahead at 5:30, a special engagement for medical workers on the front lines. How a bridal shop is delivering smiles to women who are doing so much. Up next. Now at 5:30, a bridal shop in Virginia is going above and beyond to help engaged medical workers on the front lines of the pandemic.
That's right. The store gave away 75 designer wedding gowns to nurses and healthcare workers all over the country. CBS 4's Elise Preston has more.
It took a stint. CBS News, New York.
Wow, they're really saving some bucks there, huh?
I was about to say, a free dress. That's huge.
That's a great deal.
But very well deserved.
Absolutely.
That's it for CBS 4 News at 5:30.
Here's what's next on CBS 4 News at 6.
South Florida votes. It's primary day in Florida. We have live CBS 4 team coverage.
We're getting a better idea of how the pandemic is impacting South Florida's tourism industry, and the news, not so good.
And playoff action as the Heat take on the Pacers. CBS 4 News at 6 starts right now.
This is CBS 4 News at 6.
Now at 6, a primary in a pandemic. Voters take to the polls today to cast their ballots. Good evening, everyone. I'm Elliot Rodriguez.
And I'm Carly Barnett in for Lauren Pastrana tonight. You only have about an hour left to vote before polls close. We have live team coverage for you on primary day.
CBS 4's Joan Murray gets things started. She's live at a polling place in Pompano Beach. Joan?
Yes, and there has been a steady turnout here all day.
We are tracking the tropics tonight. There are 2 areas expected to develop further.
Yeah, let's get the details from CBS 4 Chief Meteorologist Craig Setzer. These 2 systems are very close to each other, Craig.
Yeah, the one in the Atlantic definitely is.
Now to a developing story in Fort Lauderdale. Emergency crews called to a massive sewage spill. Chopper 4 was over Cordova Road and Southeast 15th Street. Crews say they managed to turn off the valve to a 16-inch sewer main pipe that broke, sending raw sewage into the neighborhoods near homes. Traffic is being detoured and precautionary boil water advisory is in effect.
And now to day 2 of the Democratic National Convention. Tonight's program includes remarks from 2 former U.S. presidents.
They will make their case on why the Biden-Harris ticket is best for the country. CBS 4's Natalie Brand joins us live from the nation's capital. Natalie.
Carly, Elliott, the list of speakers tonight on this night.
That's our news for now. The CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell is next.
And we are back in half an hour with CBS 4 News at 7. Hope to see you then.